From 1977 to 1988, playing 28 tests, of course 18 of those as a captain, and of course selected 2006 Rugby League's Player of the Century from 1907 to 2006, and also an ARL Immortal. So welcome, Mark, and thank you for making the time to talk to New Zealand Rugby League Museum. A long time ago, I'd like to start here if I can, a long time ago, but what do you remember of your first start in rugby league for the Otahu Leopards in the Auckland Rugby League comp? Not just at the top, but schoolboys as well.
Oh yeah, look, the only reason we played rugby league is because I went to St Joseph's Catholic primary school, and Otahu supplied the footy jerseys, so your mates played rugby league, so we all played rugby league, and that was how we got into rugby league.
Yeah, and going through the grades there, how old were you when you first made your topside debut?
I was 19 when I first made my topside debut, yeah. 19. And everyone was really worried about me because I was so skinny and I had long hair, and everyone was in those days was a big, strong chap. And,
I can remember thinking the same.
Yeah,
Thinking the same. So when you think back to that senior football playing in the Auckland Fox, what names stood out to you that you thought, oh shit, we've got him this week, or And
I didn't. The big thing that when I first went down, I got invited to go down and train with the Premier side. Graham Lowe was a great mate. Yeah. He was coaching juniors the year before, and he had been in touch with Peter Rasmussen and said, "Oh, Raz, can you look after him?" Because I didn't know where the training field was, because they trained in Mangere East.
Yes.
So I met him at the gate, and he walked me in, and he said, "Now that you were going to be your peg," and there was just a nail stuck in the wall, and so that was my peg forever from that day on. So I would go in and would hang your clothes on the peg, and in those days you got paid cash on a Thursday, and you hung that in the wallet, and that was that, and it never moved from that spot. Because the down the spoke and stuff.
What about the players in that Otahu team?
Oh, we had Bobby Jarvis, who was an absolute legend. Yeah, he was a 5'8", and he made me. He just say, "Mate, run at that space. Give me a couple of, give me 5 metres start and run at that space, or 5 yards start, it would have been those days." And I just hit the hole and and away you go. And I could run a little bit, so it sort of worked out pretty good.
Anybody else in there?
Oh yeah, Tippy Taylor.
Tippy Taylor, of course, the hooker, yes.
The forwards, Peter Rasmussen, Tippy Taylor, Dave Cow, Rich Popata, Alan Hamilton. Tippy used to say we were like the Terriers, because we were little compared to other packs, but we could go all day. So and we could defend. Paul Martini.
Yes.
I feel embarrassed now if I missed somebody, but we had a great side. And then you had Kenny Anderson, Bill Sorensen, young Bill. Mm-hmm. They sort of came on afterwards, and they were all great footy players, and tough and skilled.
You just mentioned Graham Lowe there before, but influences for you coming through the grades and playing topside football before you actually got onto the big stage. So you mentioned Graham Lowe. Any other influences, family, playing wise, or? Oh,
my brother was a really good footy player, and he played representative footy long before me. I never actually made a representative side as a junior. I only played a bit of rugby union at secondary school. When I went there, and I made an Auckland B grade rep side. They put all the rugby league players in the B grade rep side.
Yes.
And but my brother was an outstanding footy player. He played second row in rugby league, and he played centre in rugby league, and he captained sides age groups all the way through.
So how old was he?
He was 14 months older than me.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And then when he left school, he played representative for rugby union too. For when he played first 15, he played second row for rugby union, centre in rugby league.
Okay.
A big strong thing. Yeah. And when he left school, that was it. He went surfing, never played another game of footy. And so, and he was far better than what he ever was. And but yeah, it was.
So any other influences that you can think of now that really that you admired in the game of rugby?
Led me to rugby. We were rugby league people. We were. Mrs. Ryan used to run the club, and then Mrs. Banky ran the club, and they all got Pauline Dumper to this day, and they all just sort of. And I can remember. It was just it was a family sort of thing, like so. Not that my mum and dad ever went to the footy club, but it was you hung there, you went there on. And obviously we were young, we weren't allowed to drink, but we'd be standing around and watching them playing pool or whatever, and watching the older blokes. And there was a lot of good influences, and they were hard men, but they treated you well, and there was obviously a respect. And growing up in Otahu, was saying to Luke yesterday, we'd go past the Star Hotel and
Star Hotel.
and would sit across the road, and would buy hamburgers and sit across the road and watch the coppers try and clean the place up. And it'd be on for young and old. And
I think they still do that.
and we'd just sit there and watch it. It was marvellous. You know, no one bothered us. We just sat there. It was like a spectator sport. You know.
So of course, Lowy, the latter part of your career, when he pushed you to become the great that you are, other coaches.
Oh, well, we had Glenn McManus before that.
Yes, of course.
And McManus is an unbelievable family in Otahu. And I think Glenn actually introduced Graham to the side, and Glenn went off overseas somewhere on a bit of a sabbatical. So, and Graham coaches from the 8th grade to the 3rd grade. He played with us in the 3rd grade. Was a player coach. There was no age limit. You had to be under a certain weight on a certain date.
Yeah.
And out of that side, I used to play prop. Gary Plain was a hooker. Owen Robb was a second rower. Stan Napa came with me to Australia when we went originally. Played with me in the North and we went down both Norths actually, Brisbane North and Sydney North Sydney. Eddie Napa, his brother, was a fantastic footy player. It was going to be the next big thing, but he was like my brother, just sort of dropped out.
Yeah.
Who else?
No, that's good.
There were a lot of Kiwi Test players came out of that side.
Yes, yeah. What about school? What did you do at school? Sports-wise at school?
Well, I boarded for a little while at school, so
What school was that?
St Paul's College.
St Paul's, of course, the breeding ground.
Yeah.
Really.
Well, but it was anti-rugby league when I went there.
Yeah.
And one year there, some of the lads said, "Oh, there was a comp on the holidays," and I said, "Shall we put a side in?" So we all got together as individuals, and I said, "Yeah, we'll put a side in." So, and what jersey shall we play? Oh, we'll play in a first 15 jersey, and we didn't ask for sanction from the school to do that. And they were very upset, but when we won the comp, it was okay. So we got brushed aside, and then to go there, like in recent years, it's been a bastion of rugby league, you know. And it was only still a small school. I think there was maybe 400 or 500 pupils, and they were in A grade rugby league and A grade now, A grade or maybe B grade first 15. And they've only got 20 people to pick from. So
you were guaranteed of making something.
Well, yeah, but they still competed and they still they're still cleaning up.
So playing for Auckland, when you played for Auckland, was Auckland as strong then as it is now in the national provincial comp?
Oh yeah, Auckland. Yeah, would give it to the touring sides most times when we went out and played them.
So who was the most competitive provincial side that you used to play against?
I don't know if I can recall playing too many provincial sides, but they're all, it was like regardless of the score, it was always a hard game.
Yeah.
You know, like it was
tough.
It was a tough encounter. You know, like you might have on the scoreboard you might have said that you won comfortably, but that wasn't always the case physically. You know, so it was a game for pretty hard people back in the days.
Oh yeah, absolutely. You mentioned Brisbane North there just before, so it was in 1979 you went to Brisbane North, and then of course North Sydney in 81 where you played 145 games. How did that all come about? I mean, you know, in those days, did someone give you a phone call? Or?
Yeah, well, Lowy had gone there.
Of course.
So yeah, Graham went in 79. I actually left in 80 or late 79 and played the 80 season there. And it was just one of them things. He rang and said, look, you've coached for a year there, and he said, look, you know, it'd be nice, you want to come over and have a, I don't know, Luke was about to be born.
Yeah.
Actually got born in October of 79. November. 79. And so we had a young baby, and geez, I don't know, so, and then...
we apologise to Luke for you not remembering his birthday.
No, that was pretty good.
It's October.
October. Did well.
That's November.
Yeah. And of course, then you get named, in 2006 you got named in the Norse team of the century, and that's a great honour too.
Yeah, I only played 1 year for them,
yeah. So for that to happen, I mean, that was
it's marvellous. It was actually to go there and experience, like I turned up, they didn't buy me, I just turned up. I needed a clearance, New Zealand Rugby League weren't going to give it to me, and it finally worked. I hired Brian Williams, the great BG Williams, the All Black, to get it sorted for me, which he did, fantastic. And still a good bloke. I actually worked with him in the Auckland Rugby Union for a little while. And I got the clearance, and I hadn't trained for months because they wouldn't let me go and train with anybody. And I found my own job, and I lived with Graham for a while, and Carmen, my first wife, Lukey were living down in Sydney with her mother.
Yeah.
And I finally got my clearance. The guy, I said, oh yeah, I thought we got paid to play here, you know? And I've been training with him, and a bloke by the name of Bob Bax, who was a SP bookmaker in those days, and a bit of a lad. He came to me and he pulled a coaster off the table and he said, right, what about this? And he showed me the figure, and it was $200 a win, nothing a loss, $160 a win, that's right.
Yeah.
And that's in you had to play, it was $2 a minute, right? That's what you got paid. And then and if you came to both training sessions and completed both training sessions, you got $40 for that, so it was $200, right, cash. And only thing is, in those days, say I was playing you and you're a good player, so the first thing I'd be doing is trying to get you off the park. So some days, like one day there, I got savagely cut a few times, and I needed lots of stitches to close it, and I only played for 20 minutes, and it turned out I owed the club money at the end of the day because of all the stitches. It cost $7 a stitch. You know? So and you worked and you played and you trained, and no one came and knocked on your door and offered you stuff to go and do stuff. You just went, yeah, I'm going to test myself, go and try it.
Yeah. You had a marvellous career at the Bears. Tell us about that. Playing in the NRL and being part of that.
Well, it was the New South Wales.
New South Wales,
in those days,
yeah.
And the Winfield Cup, so cigarettes.
Yeah.
It was to go there.
Are we allowed to say that about the cigarettes?
Yeah. But it was very different. I'd just come back. I took my first tour to England and France in 1980. So I'd come and I'd signed while I was away, and they sent me a contract. And before I left Brisbane, they had Manly came and saw me, a representative from Manly, and they came and said, I want you to come and play for us, and blah, blah, blah. And the people, I looked at him and I saw how he was, and I saw how he was with other people around him, and I didn't like his attitude. So it didn't matter to me, and then when Norse, they rang me and they said, oh, we'd like to speak to you, and we're going to send these two people up. And I said, oh, okay then. And they said, oh, we'll see you on Sunday morning, because they play Saturday afternoon or whatever, or they can fly back for the game on Sunday. I said, oh, right, and one was the coach. And I said, I'll see you at such and such a place, we'll have breakfast. And they said, yeah, right. So I went to, it's always been a church goes. So I go to church that day, and there's these two blokes that I don't recognise are at church. So anyway, church is finished, I walk across the road to have breakfast, and there was these two blokes. So they were churchgoers too, so it was immediate. So straight away it was a done deal basically. And then they offered me so much money, and they sent me a contract while I was on tour. And I was going, wow, fancy getting paid to play footy. You did it for nothing, And they offered me this contract, and I was going, oh yeah, gee, I don't know. And then they rang me and said, oh look, we need to we're going to see the board meeting. We want to know if you're going to sign for us or not. So I said, oh, fair enough. Well, look, I'll look through the contract, and he said, oh, by the way, I've sent the wife some money for Christmas. So I went, what? And I said, what's that coming out of the contract? He went, no, it's just like a bonus. I went, oh, okay, that's nice, yeah. And oh, okay. So I said, oh, look, I'm not sure about the money. I don't know what the value is. But I said, well, if you just double it, we'll go from there. And he went, yeah, okay. So, and that's how it started. Yeah.
Do you regret not saying triple it?
I never played for money. It didn't matter. It didn't matter. It was like shit. Double it. It might be something that these guys earn in a month. So it's nothing. But it wasn't about money. It was about testing yourself. I was from Otahuhu. I was a Kiwi, and I thought I went pretty good, and that was in all departments, not just playing footy, toughness, holding your hands up. And right, let's go. So we went and trained with them. The first training session, it was horrendous. I'd been playing in England, came back, had a week off, and I started training again. And the heat, summertime, buckled me. But it worked out pretty good. I enjoyed my time. I met some great, we've still got lifelong friends there, so it's great.
So did you enjoy playing English footy at Wakefield Trinity, of course, in '88? So how did you enjoy the comparative differences between the game?
A little bit slower. I mean, the Pommies, when I first started playing footy against the Pommies, when I first test matches and stuff like that, they were hard. So they'd kick you, they'd gouge you, they'd stomp you. There might have been 10 teeth amongst the front row. It was all the front row. It wasn't a straight nose and within a mile of their side. They were just hard bastards. Like, you'd be lucky to get 10 you're lucky to get 20 fingers out of the whole front row, you know what I mean? There's bits of them broken off and pointing sideways. But when I went there, it was a little bit different. In fact, it was this bloke I played against one day there, and he got me good, and my teeth had come through my lip, and I went to the scrum, and the referee went, "Oh, you have to go off." And I said, "What?" And he said, "Like, you know, oh, your teeth are sticking." I said, "Oh, yes, good as gold." He said, "No, you'll have to go off, or I'll send you off." I said, "Oh." So I went to the sideline. I said, "Hey," before going off, I said, "Yeah, stitch this up for us, Doc." And he goes, "Yeah, no worries." So I go to the dressing room, and he said, "Well, there's no point in giving any painkiller because it's going to be in before the match." I said, "Yeah, just stitch her up and we'll go back out." So he stitched me up, and that fucking hurts just quite. So I run back out, and I was going to dog shit out of this bloke. So I ran to the sideline, and I just went to tag the referee, and I was like, "So excuse me, I'm going back on to anyone. They've already replaced you." I looked at the song and said, "Are you fucking kidding me? What's going on here?" This, like in the old days, they played square up now. And and I mean, we were playing the Pommies here one day, and it would have been John Percival, or maybe even Neville, and they'd keep score. You know, you'd get tackled in the mud, and you'd slide, and as you slide, someone's whooping at you with an elbow or a fist or something like that. And you didn't put a blue on because the referee goes for that. So next time you got your opportunity with him, you go, and sink one and do it, you go, you score. And so there wasn't any penalties handed out for that. It was just how the game was played. Yeah.
77 Kiwis selection. What do you remember of your first test in the Kiwis and putting on that black and white jersey for the first time?
Oh, well, it was a 77. That would have been, I think I came on as a reserve against the Poms down in Christchurch. It was freezing cold. Yeah. I was shitting myself, didn't sleep the night before, I was that nervous, you know, all those sorts of things.
Did you have sort of some dinner where your jersey was given to you in those days?
No. It's something that we bought in, I think around my, we'd have a test match prior to the game and stuff like that.
But that jersey, that meant so much to you?
Oh yeah, absolutely, yeah. It was, you know, through my hook, I didn't play to earn or win or maybe just to win. The whole thing was a test, you know. It was how could you do it, you know? And that was it. You know? And not only that, it was like you played hard, you drank hard afterwards, or you partied hard, and then you got up and went to work in the morning. You know, and it wasn't oh geez, I had a big night, I had to play. So, I mean, I remember once on there, Gordon, in my career, and we used to trial for the Kiwis in those days when I was living here, and I had 5 games in 8 days, and I went to sleep on a Sunday after my last game of that, you know, the 5th game, and I wake up on a Tuesday morning. And I missed work, and I was just like beside myself. And Mum said, "No, I've called him. I told you."
Okay, let's go back to that first test. You've come off the sideline. Do you remember that? Do you remember that right mark you're going off? You don't
I can't recall.
You can't.
There's lots of things I can't remember.
Yeah, we'll get into that later. What about the players in that team, in that first Kiwi test team? All of a sudden, Mark Graham is a Kiwi.
Well, all the guys you looked up to, obviously, Lindsay Proctor was Kenny Sterling. They're very different in those days. Like you didn't sort of like the South Highlanders and the North Highlanders didn't sort of assimilate. You know, they were very much their own.
Well, it's probably still the same today.
So that was really different. And when I went to in '78, I didn't go to the Kiwi trial, so I couldn't get selected. And they toured, I believe. We've got a tour Australia there.
Yes.
So, and I didn't go. So someone got injured. Barry Edkin got injured. So I went over, and Barry was staying with another South Islander, Nala Rushton. So I got put up with him. So all of a sudden, I would have been segregated if I would have been with the Auckland boys and I'd have been over here. You know? But I was in amongst them, and it sort of I could see their side of things, and it was great. So from there on, I was lucky enough to take 2 tours to England and France, 80 and 85, and I'd make sure that I mixed up the roomies so that everybody was assimilated together, and you know, we were a united group. You know? But you know, it was very. You know, in my day, we'd have our own. We'd have the MIA, Marion Island Affairs. Yeah. So they look after the entertainment on the buses and stuff like that. And then you had the Beagle boys who were the Beagle boys. They were band buggers. Yeah. They were out. They were all single guys out to party and drink and break all the rules. And then you had my crew with the enforcers. and so I'd drink with the enforcers every night before we'd go for dinner. We'd always be on our number ones. And I'd shut them the beer every night, and we'd have a discussion and say, "Oh, it's going to be a 10 meeting tomorrow." I'd like this voted up because of it, tell them the reasons, they'd go, yeah, it sounds pretty good. So off we go to the meeting the next morning, and after we'd got up for a walk or a run in the morning, and they just spaced themselves around, and they were all the tough guys, and they'd say, well, boys, I think we should do this. And then, being a democratic society, I think we should vote on it. So I said, well, all those in favour raise their hand, and all these big tough blokes, and then they go, oh, put your hand there, put your hand there. Oh, they've got passed unanimously there.
But I think you hung out with the Beagle boys a bit as well too.
Not really, no. They were the Beagle was, actually, we had a lot of fun with them.
Yeah.
We used to have some great, I used to drive the management man along. One time, I thought he was going to send me home. he was that angry with me, but we used to have some, we'll put all those young men together, something's going to happen.
Can I ask you, and look, I know that the whole rugby league fraternity in New Zealand were disappointed with it as well, the 1988 World Cup Grand Final at Eden Park. For you personally, what was that like? Because there was a lot of finger pointing after that game that went off, which we'll leave that for another day.
Yeah, sure.
But for you to be on that field in such a disappointing test when we went in, to be quite honest, with a lot of favouritism.
Yeah, that's right. From memory, it's a long time ago, obviously. Yeah, I think we had
Because Dean was the captain.
That's
wasn't
right.
he?
Yeah, it was his first Test captain. And look, it's not Dean's fault.
No,
he was
no.
a fantastic footy player, as we all know, and he didn't select himself as captain. But it was a lot of it was. I think we most probably got let down by New Zealand Rugby League. They didn't put the management and the structure in place for everybody. And it was a bit. She was a wild, very different. We actually changed rooms with people because some of the oldest blokes got together and said, we can't let these two young ones together, we'll have to split them up. And so we tried to do our bit, but it was, I think the actual game happened, from memory, we gave away an enormous amount of ball, penalties, just crazy, doing crazy things. And I don't think we were ever in the game. We sort of got back into it towards the end of the game, but it was well and truly done.
Bloody Wally Lewis.
And he played marvellously well, and Australia played good. So it wasn't as if we lost to Mugs, but some of the things that happened. They had a referee that's only ever had one Test match, and he came from Papua New Guinea, and he stayed some of the Australian officials. Apartments on the Gold Coast and stuff like that, and then he flew down to have the one Test match, and so New Zealand Rugby League's happy with that. So I'm like, really?
Yeah.
But
it was a great occasion.
It was a fantastic occasion for rugby league. It was like a Test match at Eden Park, like never happened. And to perform so poorly, it was bad. So, but everyone wanted to play good. It's like no one wants to lose. No one sets out to lose, but it sometimes happens. But it's the mark of the man, what you do afterwards, a lot of occasions, isn't it?
There's been some wonderful stories about your leadership that have probably grown an arm and a leg or two over the years, playing with injuries and stuff. A lot of those myths, or there's some truths in there?
Oh, I don't know the stories.
Well, I think there's one there where you went back on with a broken arm or something that Lowy had said, we need you back on. You went back on.
My cheekbone. I broke my cheekbone.
Cheekbone. That's right. You went back on.
Well, that wasn't. I not busted my ankle, but I tore the ligaments off my ankle prior to that. And there's certain things that you did and you didn't do. Like, because I was targeted, we'd have blokes that were selected for the Kiwis side that would make sure that if I was looking one way, they'd be looking the other for me. You could hear the clatter of feet come running sometimes, and then run into something. And that's just how it was, and that's how the game was played. And we played the game the same way as everyone else did. But anyway, there was one stage in the first test against the Poms at Headingley, and they were starting to get on top, and they'd kicked the ball long, and they were starting to smash us, get off the line and really give it to us. So something that I wouldn't generally do is have the ball up in that area. I'd be organising what we're going to do next, and pointing fingers and we're going to do this after this play. And I could feel the side. I said, give me the ball, and so I've charged into them, and I'm standing there trying to look for an offload, and they just continued to hit me, and someone held my legs, and someone twisted me, and I could hear my ankle pop. Gee, that doesn't sound good. So I got up and played the ball, and went to put my foot on the bend, and I just fell over. Shit, this isn't going good. So, so I'm limping along, and then we've made a bit of a break, and I'm standing there calling the ball, and I know where I want the ball to go. And the winger came in, and as the ball came to me, he rushed at me a little bit with a name of wasn't Henderson Gill or one of those guys, a little native guy. Anyway, and I was taking the ball, and I hit him with an elbow and just set him straight on the ground. As I turned, the rest of them hit me, and I'm lying on the ground, and this dude's got off the ground, and I'm pinned like that. And I had nowhere, nothing, and he's just jumped at me and whap, and just smashed me cheekbone. And so that got up off the ground, and my face was already swelled up. And so it wasn't long after that we went to half time.
Yeah.
And at half time, Laurie said, "Geez, how you feeling?" I said, "I can't see how fucking well, it's killing me. And my ankles even worse, I can hardly walk." And he said, he said, "You've got to go back out because they've given it to you, and if you turn it up now," he said, "the boys will."
Yeah.
So I needed assistance. I think Hugh McGowan and Laurie helped me out back onto the park. So we were playing away then. We had a scrum, and in those days you pushed into the scrums, and I was a second row, and I couldn't put my foot on the ground. So not long after that, I left, but the boys
Did the job.
The boys did the job. Yeah, they smashed them after that. So.
Can I ask you about your leadership qualities, Sharko? Did you always know you were going to be a leader on the footy field?
It's funny. I never actually thought about that. I just did what I did. I just saw what I saw.
Yeah.
And I suppose I'd be pretty much the same now if I was somewhere where something happened that I didn't like. I'd say something.
Yeah.
I'd stand up and say, "Hey, mate, I'm not putting up with that."
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's leadership or is it
Yes.
just.
I have to tell you it is.
Oh, is it okay? Well, I would know what I like, and if I've got something to say, I'm going to say it.
Yeah.
And I'm not here to upset anybody, but if I upset someone, so what?
Sharko, where'd that come from?
Lindsay Proctor.
Yeah.
Yeah, Mark the Shark.
Mark the Shark.
Yeah.
And it just stuck in. I mean, you've
Yeah,
been
just-
Sharko ever since.
Yeah, forever, yeah. And and that's what I'm guessing anyway. You might have to ask Lindsay. Maybe I was
Probably
thinking one day and he said, "Oh,
something.
whatever."
There's
Yeah.
probably something else there. I'd really love to know about we get told we've got 5 minutes
Oh.
on the way. We've got Mark Graham in here. I'd really like to know about your last game of rugby league. Your last game and why was it your last game?
Oh, look, I was old. I was tired. I was
Yeah,
big.
your body-
Yeah, I was smashed. And I had pneumonia. I kept coughing all the time, and I said, "Oh, geez, My last game didn't plan to be my last game, but what had happened? Brent Todd was playing with us up in England,
Yes.
in Wakefield, and he'd done his knee, and Wakefield just washed their hands of it. And I said, "Hang on," I said, "He hardly ever scores any tries." I said, "He's a prop. He stands in the middle of the park. He tackles people coming his way. He gets his fast play the balls. I play off the back of it." And so, I'd take the ball wide, and I'd have the other second rower, who was a good player, was a poly guy, and I'd break the line and give him the ball, and he'd score. I said, "How's he going now?" That poly second rower, he'll play for England this year. He's never had a better season. I said, "So what do you think that happens?" And he went, "Well, what do you mean?" I said, "Well, Toddy hits the line, makes maybe a meter, gets smashed, gets up and plays the ball as the defence is retreating. I run onto the ball against the defence that's backing up, put a little bit of footwork, poke my head through, and try to." I said, "So without him, we can't do that." And I said, "Anyway, I don't care, he's gone." So I went, "Well, what you'll do is you'll pay him and get him fixed up, or otherwise I'll retire." And they said to me, "You're making too much money. We're paying you too much money, you can't afford to retire." I said, "Really? What's this?" So the money never meant anything to me. Even to this day.
It's a great story.
It's about. We play this game because of our mates and for our mates, and for the people that support us and our families and our clubs and that sort of thing. It's never been about money to me. It's just been about getting out there and doing your best and testing your abilities and see if the preparation you put in is actually good enough, and having good memories about win's not everything, but testing yourself to the best of your ability and forcing yourself to go that extra mile is.
2 years as coach over at the Warriors. How did you enjoy that?
I enjoyed it immensely. It was great. Yeah, we didn't have. I like to think back. A couple of years after I finished coaching there, all them kids that I brought in,
Yes.
they were all champion players. They were when they played in the grand final. And maybe that was some talent to recognise those young people. But almost everyone, maybe one or two didn't make the Kiwis. But other than that, and that's a horrendous strike rate. But we didn't have under 21s. We didn't have a reserve grade. So we were trialling kids from the street, and, putting trials on, and I had, because I coached so much in Australia, I had years and years of athletic ability. So as soon as a kid could do something like that, we'll pull him out, you know, put him, so yeah, he's not much of a player, doesn't we can make him a player. He's got to have athletic ability to start with, and a good attitude. And I reckon I had about a 95% strike rate with success, and that's not just making first grade. That's like Clinton Torpy. A mate of mine said, you know, Clinton come from the wrong side of town. He said, mate, this kid can play, so we got him there, and kid could play, could do absolutely anything and everything. And he turned out to be the world's best centre within 4 or 5 years of me signing, and he came from a kid that was with nothing.
Yeah.
So
And you mentioned before, just quickly if we can, you mentioned before about rugby with BG and Auckland Rugby. So they obviously saw something that Mark Graham was doing with league that could transfer to rugby. So even Japan, down Japan as well.
Yeah.
So did you enjoy that little rugby stint as well?
Yeah, it was great. They were nice people. You know, like sports people are the world, aren't they? You know? The rugby union guys were great because they talk about defence, but they don't really do too much about it. You know? And even my job was with the rugby union, and I worked with Italy for a while through their Six Nations. It was about organising your defence, tackling your ability, how to tackle. I used to get the referees in and explain to the boys, say, with Auckland there one time, or with A side, you know, they said, we're getting penalised to death. What's happening in that rugby? I said, get the referees in. Obviously, our guys don't know the rules, so the referee came in and was telling the rules to the boys. And
nobody knows the
rules. And they were going, really? Really? And I'm going, look, I'm foreign to this game, and there's obviously rules surrounding it. And every time the whistle blows, it looks like it's against us, and it looks like it's you. They're penalising. And you're the scavenger bloke, so what's going on? And the referee says, no, you can't do that, you can't do that. And he's going, oh. So that's why you're getting penalised all the time, learn their rules, you know. But they were great to work with, really good talent, nice people. I got to work with my cousin, John Kerwin.
Of course.
Went to Europe, to Italy, did some work over there with them. Had a great time, went to Cardiff, you know, the Millennium Stadium, and then went and lived and worked in Japan for a couple of years as they called it a defence coach, but how to create space and also defend and tackle and stuff like that. Did a little bit of fitness and conditioning work with them, and it was super. I loved it.
So just in closing then, Shago, is the rugby league world going to see any more of Mark Graham in any way, shape or form?
I doubt, yeah. Look, I think the way New Zealand Rugby League is at the moment, and there's in a huge hole, I'd like to sort of help them organise some people to get them heading in the right direction again. And you know, with the people that I know and worked with in the past, I'm sure we can mostly help them in that regard. But you've got to be asked to do that. Yeah. Always very proud, always a Kiwi in New Zealand at heart. I'm living in Central Queensland at the moment, and I get flogged for being. I'm a Warriors supporter, and I get beaten up. Well, not beaten up, but you know, like the Aussies are great. You know, they give it as good as they get, and don't worry, I square up plenty with them. So it's sports. I've been blessed.
Yeah. Well, then on that note, Mark, on behalf of everybody involved in the game within this country, thank you so much for everything you've done, the memories you've given us, and we'd love to see you back in the game. So, Mark Graham, thank you very much.
Thank God, pleasure, mate. Thank you.